everyone, and welcome to this episode of Behind the Wrestler. My guest at this time is none other than the rugged Vic Craig himself. Thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us an inside story of yourself. So, first question that you're going to get asked multiple times is who, when, and where inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
Wow. So probably my earliest memories of wrestling was when I was about 3 years old, and let's see, the Macho Man, just that big bold character. But back then it was all these big guys, and I was always like, that'd be cool to do. But probably when I was about 9 years old, I was seeing Rey Mysterio, and I was just like, wow, maybe I could do this. Like, he's about the same size as me. Like, you know, the smaller guys are actually doing this sort of stuff, and it was crazy to see. And it really inspired me, and I really wanted to give it a go. But yeah.
Trying to find a wrestling school here in New Zealand, how did you go about looking into it and like eventually being like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this?
So I knew about pretty much every promotion in New Zealand since they basically started. So yeah, it was Mania Pro Wrestling back then. I seen their show in Green Lane Church. And yeah, I just always wanted to do it. I was always scared I was going to fail, so I never really went and did it, and it took me so long to eventually get there. Yeah, I just sort of looked at Maniacs United and wanted to go where it all sort of began, like where the New Zealand pro wrestling scene started back up. So, yeah.
And going to Maniacs United, who was run by Stacey Stewart, walking in your first day of training, how did you prepare? What was going through your mind? What did you take away from it? And what was it like taking your first ever bump?
So I arrived about an hour early, and so I went down to St. Luke's Mall and hung out for a bit, preparing myself. Yeah, it was a big build up for me because it'd been so long since I wanted to do it, and I finally picked up the courage. Was sort of forced to go, and yeah, I was very very nervous going in. But after I got there, I knew like this is what I want to do. I'm gonna do this. I loved every minute of it. It was really great.
And then, you know, after your first training session, obviously you continued going back and, you know, eventually got the opportunities to debut on shows. But prior to that, getting an inside look of how a show is put together and how it's run from start to finish, what was your thoughts on, like, it's not just, hey, you turn up and the ring is magically there?
Yeah, I expected it all. I sort of knew that there was going to be a lot of work involved behind the scenes as well. Yeah, I was prepared for all of that, so I was really, really excited to be involved in setting up the ring and being a part of putting the shows together even before I started wrestling, so it was really cool. Yeah.
And, you know, finding out about your debut match, how did you prepare and what was the thoughts going through your mind, like, I'm actually about to debut on a show and actually do this for real?
Yeah, so I was sort of told probably 3 weeks prior to my debut that it was going to happen. So I sort of rushed off to get gear and boots and everything sorted. So it was pretty hectic to know that I was debuting so quickly. Yeah, it's weird. I wasn't nervous. It was strange. I wasn't nervous knowing that I was debuting. I wasn't nervous before the debut. it was yeah really weird for me because it was something I'd been building towards for the majority of my life, and I sort of yeah wasn't scared or nervous. I was just I was pretty excited. Yeah, definitely. And debuting against Stacey, Just Plain Evil, was pretty cool because I'd watched her for years, like wrestling, and loved her character. And it was exciting.
What did you take away from, from your first match and getting the opportunity to not only have your debut with Just Plain Evil, but a person who has been around for such a long time and has done so much for New Zealand wrestling?
I felt like I learned a lot just from that one match with Stacey. It was a really cool experience, but I was more nervous after the match than before the match, because I had to wait for Stacey to get changed and come back out to know if I'd done everything right. And so I was standing there nervously just waiting for her approval. It was quite nerve-wracking, and she came out, you all good. It was all good. I was like, oh, cool, sweet. Sweet as, we're good. So, yeah.
And then, from that one match, going to having all these continuous matches and getting to work with guys like Tyler Chase, guys, getting the chance to work with Cam Corbin, and getting all these opportunities to work with all these wrestlers, getting developing your character and going about like, okay, I need a character in mind, and I need something for the fans to like latch onto. How did you go about developing your character and making your character to what it is now?
It's something I sort of had in mind from the start. It's pretty much me. It really is. I'm just being me out there having fun. It really is just me.
Just with the volume turned up.
Like everyone always says, the cliche.
Yeah, the cliche thing.
Yes.
And then getting to work with a series of matches against Tyler Chase. What was the learning stuff you took away from that, and getting the opportunity to work with Tyler Chase, who's relatively new as well?
I love working with Tyler Chase. I think he's going to be quite big in the New Zealand wrestling scene, if not overseas as well. Just being at training with him and being able to try out new stuff with him, and that was quite fun. Trying different things and really trying to push my own limits against him. If he does something really good, I'm like, shit, I want to try and do that as well. And so just working with him is always trying to push each other. I feel like he probably gets a lot of the best out of me as well. So it's quite cool.
Getting the, you from where you were to where you are now, because you're the current Jackson Seal champion, getting the opportunity to wrestle the former Jackson Seal champion, and getting the opportunity to become number one contender and walk out as the Jackson Seal champion, having that first championship under your belt. What was the, what was that whole process like? Did you realize it then? It's like, oh, okay, I have this now, or did it take a couple of days to sink in? It did take a little while to sort of sink in that I'd won it. Even prior finding out, I thought someone else was getting that opportunity, and it was pretty surprising. Wrestling with James Shaw, having that match with James Shaw, just someone I've known since he started wrestling, basically. So it was quite a cool full circle sort of moment for me to have matches with James, and I've seen him since he
started wrestling, I knew of him, like I knew him. So being able to actually wrestle him was a really cool thing for me. But to win the Shield off him was just that next level. It was, yeah. No, even now it's still sort of quite
So unreal.
sort of. Oh man, I still got my Shield.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the opportunity to be in the ring with James, Charlie Roberts, and Alex Savage in that one match and win the Shield. So it was a real cool moment for me, especially knowing, like, been watching them since they all started wrestling basically. So
And then standing across the ring from them felt so unreal, right?
yeah. It was a cool moment. It's cool.
Getting the opportunity to wrestle James and Charlie Roberts at the same time. Charlie Roberts is the bar here. If you want to make a name for yourself, he's the guy you go up against. Whether you win, lose, or draw, he's going to make you famous. Getting the opportunity to work with both of them in this one match and adding in Alex Savage, who has worked his ass off to come up to the level that he has in a very quick way. That match alone, what was the things you took away and the things you learned, and like, you got to wrestle the people that you saw pretty much when they started their career to where they are now.
It was interesting. You like a lot of the matches I'd had prior, I'd been training with those people for a bit. We could figure stuff out with each other and sort of work on the stuff we were going to do together for a while prior to the matches. So we had that time, but suddenly, like with those guys that've been doing it for so long, I think they just sort of, go in and they pretty much know, like, we can do whatever and just go with it, sort of thing. And I was sort of, everyone's there going over everything and they've got this time to do it. We sort of, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, sweet. Okay, cool. And I learned a lot just from that, like, sort of that little quick sort of, this is how we're doing it, this is what we're going to do, cool, go out there and do it. Sort of pushed me out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. It was, one of my favourite matches I've had so far, just because of probably one of those things, like it just pushed me out of that comfort zone. I was sort of like, okay, sweet, we're doing this, cool. Learning a lot from just what they were doing as well as where I had to be in the match and the ring positioning too. I took a lot away from it, and it was,
And like, getting, like, moving on from that match to the match you had recently, I believe that was your first ever death match. Yes and no.
I had a unsanctioned match with Tyler Chase.
Oh yeah, well, unsanctioned versus the death match, which a whole bunch of crazy stuff went on in there, and going up against a guy as Paul Sayers, and beating a guy like Paul Sayers. It's a crazy kind of style match, and a lot went on. When you found out about this match and you're like, okay, I'm going to be able to work with a guy who has been around a long time. He's wrestled in New Japan. He's done it all, pretty much. And getting the opportunity to wrestle him and learn from him, but also got to do this amazing match with him. What was what you take away from all of that experience besides being in a lot of pain the other day?
So, death matches is something I've always wanted to do. I've always loved that hardcore brawling style, and I've always wanted to be involved in death matches. Mainly from back in the Machine days. There's the Machine, New Zealand, like, Hall of Famer now.
Yeah.
Just he was probably one of the top guys in this country, and I loved every match he had, and a lot of it was that hardcore deathmatch style, and it inspired me a lot to really start wanting to do all that sort of thing. And yeah, just randomly one day Stacey said she wanted to do a lights out sort of deathmatch, and I was like, hey, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And it was sort of born from that, and then Paul was like, yeah, cool, I'm involved, I want to be involved in that too. And yeah, it was really cool to be able to live out one of my dreams, to be involved in that style of match. And I learnt a lot from Paul in that match, and he really sort of made it what it was. So I feel like he was like, oh, I really enjoyed myself in that match. It's probably one of my favourites now, like to date.
Yeah.
Just even the atmosphere there, it was crazy. I really enjoyed just being involved in just every little part of that match. For some reason, it just felt like it was just, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, really cool. Like, I don't know, it's hard to...
Like, it's like you felt at home and it felt normal. Like,
Yeah.
And, you know, taking away from all of that and getting the opportunity to, you know, kind of branch out from Maniacs United and getting the opportunity to debut on Hughes Academy. When you found out you got the opportunity to debut for Hughes Academy and took away, like, how did all of that experience and what you take away from all of that experience?
Yeah, I was real excited about it. One of the goals I set at the start of the year was to get another booking outside of Maniacs United, and yeah, it happened pretty quickly for, you know, the start of the year. I was like, yeah, pretty cool. I was, you know, yeah, really excited to get that opportunity. Yeah, I just felt welcomed by everyone there, and it was like, really good opportunity, real fun. Probably got the most photos with kids and fans I've ever had at that show, actually, so that was cool. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Wrestled Crystal Kane, so
Yeah.
it was a cool experience. I learned a bit from her as well, which is quite cool. Obviously her coming from Maniacs to begin with as well, one of the ones that started with Maniacs, I believe. So I was really excited about that as well, like the whole, you know, started at Maniacs thing, and like being a Maniacs United trainee is, yeah, I thought it was a really fun match too. Really enjoyed it.
Nice. And then, you know, taking away from the Hughes Academy stuff, and getting the opportunity to do all of that stuff, what is your ultimate goal that you would like to get out as a professional wrestler? Is it to go to New Japan, to go to Ring of Honor, to go to the WWE, so on and so forth?
At the moment, I've sort of, I think, like, at the age I am, I'm a bit iffy. Like, I don't know if there will be an opportunity for me to go too far, you know, like, you know, the big leagues or whatever. But after the deathmatch, I've sort of got the inkling to get back into another deathmatch to sort of push those boundaries a bit more and go into a bit more of the deathmatch style. Oh yeah, really. At the moment, something that's going through my mind is on probably going to America to sort of do a few death matches eventually. Yeah, I've been watching a few, keeping my eye on a few guys, and like guy in America, Casanova Valentine, booking no ring death matches. It looks like a lot of fun actually. I thought about, like, when I first saw it, I was like, no ring death matches, that sounds dumb. Yeah. And I've actually watched a few and it looks like a hell of a lot of fun. So that's something I've got in my mind at the moment. Nice. Like a bit of a goal, like, would be pretty cool to go and try and get into a bit of that. Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to accomplish, or any one that you would like to face in the near future?
there's a hell of a lot of names going through my mind. In this country, or
Yeah, in this country, like who would you like to wrestle that you haven't had the opportunity to wrestle yet?
there's a lot. There's a hell of a lot. I'd love to. Rematch with Tyler Chase, like, straight pops in my head, like. But yeah, who I haven't. There's a lot. We got a big fella coming up, training with us at the moment, Joe. I'd love to get in the ring with that guy. I think he's going to be my favourite wrestler as soon as he debuts. Love him. Kartik, that's one I'd like to get in the ring with.
Got to wait a while for that one.
Graham Hughes would be great. Love Graham Hughes, so it'd be quite fun get involved with him. Kingy. He's one of my favourite wrestlers, and I started watching the New Zealand wrestling scene.
Who wouldn't want to step in the ring with Kingy?
A lot of the guys down south, the J.K. Moody's, Kane Carnes.
Yeah.
Look like a lot of fun to be in the ring with those guys. Oh man, there's so many names. There's so many people.
Yeah, so many people, right?
So there's a lot to do.
What is your thoughts on the New Zealand wrestling scene now, from when you started watching it to what it is now?
Oh, it's grown massively. It's huge now. When I first started, it was lots of track pants and jeans and no real wrestling gear. It's grown massively. Like the production and like everything. It's huge now. It's crazy. I remember searching, hoping there was something in this country for years, and finally stumbling across something, and going from the little church halls to the 300 plus crowds a lot of the shows are drawing nowadays. And, it's just amazing how it's grown. It's cool. It's really cool.
And it's only going to get bigger and bigger. What is next for Vic Craig?
Wow. Hopefully some death matches. Defending the Shield, and open challenges coming up, so be a few cool opponents in that. I think we'll have a good array of opponents for me. Holding on to that Shield for as long as I can.
Yep.
I'm gonna fight.
Nice. Is there anything that you would like to say to anyone who is going to watch this episode? Any advice that you want to give? Anything at all that you want to say?
I waited until I was 29 to debut, to start training. So, I wanted to do it since I was pretty much, 3 years old. So, I was always too scared that I was going to fail at something I love so much, and I think just don't be scared of failure. You're going to fail if you don't commit to it and do it, and I found that out. That's pretty much it. I just think it's something, if you want to do it, don't be scared of it.
Thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us an insight of your story.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody, and I will catch you guys at the next episode.